a very important place called, can you all hear me? We're in a very important place called Magdala. In Hebrew, Migdal means tower. This place had another name, Tarchi, in Greek, which means a place of salted fish. How was Magdala discovered? Well, the answer is the hotel next to us. They had a plan to build a hotel over this site in 2009. In 2009, archeologists had to check off a box for building permit to build a hotel. On their very last day of their survey, they found an ancient wall. So the hotel had to be moved from its original site. Yes, the hotel has to be moved from its original site, and they have discovered an ancient synagogue. Not any ancient synagogue, but first century synagogue from the time of Jesus. By the way, not too many first century synagogues were found in Israel from the time of Jesus. So that was a big deal. And we're on the western side of the Sea of Galilee. To the west of us, there's a mountain called Mount Arbel. At the foot of Mount Arbel, do you remember? There's a valley, an important valley, because there's a highway that goes to a small city called Nazareth. And as I said, the easiest way to come from Nazareth, from Cana, towards the city of Capernaum, or towards the Sea of Galilee, is through this valley. Magdala was one of the large cities around the Sea of Galilee. And may I remind you, Matthew 4, verse 23, Jesus went throughout the Galilee, preaching in their synagogues and healing every disease and every sickness among the people. So if coming from Nazareth, from Cana towards Capernaum, you'll be passing by a large city called Magdala. So if this was a large city, then this makes sense that Jesus spent a big amount of time in Magdala. It is not mentioned in the Bible that Jesus was in Magdala, but this was a large city, and in Matthew 4, Jesus went throughout the Galilee preaching in their synagogue. So it makes sense that Jesus was here. He spent a big amount of time in Magdala preaching and teaching in this synagogue. When they started digging here, they found this unique stone. This unique stone represented the temple in Jerusalem. How do we know that? If you look from this side, you'll see a menorah, two jars on both sides of the menorah, and two pillars. The menorah is a very important Jewish symbol which illuminated the temple, and the two jars either held water or olive oil. The two pillars represents the two pillars that stood at the entrance of the Holy of Holies at the temple in Jerusalem. And what can we see on the top of this stone? You can see a rosette, a flower, two trees, and the heart-shaped designs. The two trees are mentioned in the book of Genesis, the tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. The heart-shaped designs are not hearts. We believe that these are loaves of bread arranged in a certain way. They are the 12 loaves of bread at the table of the offering at the temple in Jerusalem. And the rosette, the flower, we believe now, many people would say that this was the curtain, represents the curtain that covered the Holy of Holies in Jerusalem. That curtain which was split up in two when Jesus was crucified at Golgotha. What can we see on both sides of the stone? Arches. And these arches represents the entrance to the temple. One of the entrances to the temple is called Hulda Gate. What do we see here? We see arches, two wheels. Can you see the wheels? And under the wheels, some kind of an explosion. Many scholars believe that this explosion represents Elijah and the wheels when he ascended to heaven. Represented the temple in Jerusalem. We found this stone inside the first century synagogue. Let's get closer to the synagogue. So the stone represented the temple. We can't go inside.
So does the country own this or does the hotel own it?
No. Who owns the place? Who owns Magdala? Catholic monks called the Legion of the Christ, Mexican monks. Okay? Now, this was the entrance, the main entrance to the synagogue, but this first room was a study hall. You can see the benches, a row of benches. You can see a row of benches right over here. Can you see it? And the row of benches below. And we found, by the way, when this room was discovered, we found a coin. And coins are archaeologist's best friend. Why? Because they can date the site. And the coin was minted in 27 AD. That's a special year because most scholars believe that the ministry of Jesus Christ started in 27 AD. So a coin was found here, and this stone was also found here. You can see on top of the stone there are two grooves. Can you see them? So there must have been a little chair on this stone. On this stone, the teacher or the rabbi used to sit, and this was a study hall. So if Jesus came here, he must have sit on this stone, on this particular stone. Okay, let's go this direction, please. No. Again, can you all hear me? The first room was not the synagogue. It's only the entrance. It's a study hall. This part was the synagogue itself. Did I make it clear? Yes? So this was the synagogue. By the way, a synagogue, what does it mean? The word synagogue. Place of gathering. Place of gathering. So this is a synagogue. Can you see